Okay. I like to point out how I sound much clearer with this microphone headset. Like I was just using my MacBook for microphone. But yeah, previously I mentioned on my last video that I would basically just take moments from games that I want to show. Uh I that means I also did a like final moments, maybe some key moments in games throughout my playthroughs. Final Fantasy X I did have a series on, but I just said we're not gonna continue doing that. That takes up way too much space on my PS4, so I just cut down all of that and stuck with the ending. And here it is. This is the Seymour fight. There's gonna be two parts of this. The other one's gonna be super long, so get ready for that. But yeah, here's the Seymour fight. As you are watching this, I'm going to be talking over it to give you some tips and tricks. Cause during the time I played Final Fantasy X, I was actually looking at an IGN guide. Tell you what, sometimes those actually work, but in the next boss after Seymour, it does not matter. Like that, just screw the IGN guide. Stick with me. Let me help you out. I'm your tour guide. Hey Navi, let's get going. Let's go.
Don't you ever give up?
Sin has chosen me. I am part of sin. I am one with sin forever. Immortal.
Sin just absorbed you.
I will learn to control it from within. I have all the time in the world. Since you were gracious enough to dispose of Unaleska, the only means of destroying sin is forever gone. Now nothing can stop us.
Well, we can.
By all means, try. You should thank me. Your death means your father's life.
With every fight you go into in Final Fantasy X, you need to make sure you cast haste on everybody, especially with like whoever you're using right now. So if you have Auron, Wakka, and Tidus out, go ahead and cast haste on everyone. That should be your first motive to do, because what it does is it just gives you more opportunities to do whatever with every character. So that means like turns you have for the characters are increased, and it's really good to do that. I'd recommend doing some grinding before you do the final bosses, because with these bosses, they're going to really be a pain in the rear for you. But you can still bypass them with like strategies that I will tell you. But I'd still recommend get Auron to 60,000 health. Everyone's grids are completely done. Have haste, Haska, protect, learn for Tidus. Have Auron make sure he has every break he has. Well, any break is available to you. If you miss a break during like the game sometime, don't worry about it. There's a thing where you can get an all break, and it's if you do anything with Auron. Don't worry about that. Now another thing to note is that Lulu and Yuna, you really want to make sure you max out the grids, because if you do, sometime once you've done that, you should have already gotten some items specifically for this sphere grid. So if you have return grid or anything like, return sphere, go ahead and use that for both Lulu or a friend sphere. Lulu and Yuna, and find the spot where you can find the ability to double cast. Get that, and make sure you also get Flare and Holy. With Lulu, because you have double cast, you can double cast Flare with only for black magic though. Only for black magic. So Flare is black magic, and Lulu can do that. With Yuna, Holy does automatic 99999 points of damage. So you don't get double cast, but you do get Holy. So go get Holy, go get Flare. Make sure, Lulu has double cast. This will help in the next fight. as far as I'm concerned, that's really what you really should know for all these characters. Make sure you max out your grids. Go ahead and start, overlapping with the grids, going into other friends' grids, whatnot. Orange should be able to go to Tidus's grid once you max out his. So stuff like that, go ahead and do that. Alright. Biggest thing to notice in this game, and this fight especially, with Seymour, is that you see his those little grids behind him. Those are elemental grids. Because there's 4 facing Seymour, that technically means that the stronger the element fire will be. So if he has 4 fire looking at him, pointing towards him, it's going to be a Fire-Aga. So that's the strongest fire elemental attack you can do. That means you're going to probably take a lot of damage. Now it's important that you don't mess with the grid. So what you're going to do is, even if you do mess with the grid, make it to where it's less powerful by, it's less powerful if you were to take one grid and switch it to Blizzard or whatever. Yeah, although that can work, I'd recommend to leave the grid alone and just keep nullifying your party with Yuna. Nullify and go ahead and start stacking on other nullifies. So that means go ahead and nullify with Blizzard, go ahead and nullify with Thunder, Water, and Fire. So that just means because when the next phase comes around, it's going to be when he switches all grids to the next strongest elemental attack. Go ahead and do that. Keep this up. Another thing to note is that with Auron, you have mental and armor break. Armor break is lowers defense, and mental break is lowers magic attack. So even though you do have these immunities of elemental attacks, you can still lose those immunities pretty easily. If he just hits you with Fire-Aga and you have nullify Fire-Aga or nullify Blaze, that's gonna be gone instantly. So this does mean because Seymour has 4 attacks at one turn. This does mean that he can keep attacking one character, or you can attack every character, but then the 4th attack will be on another character again. But that's fine, because mental break does lower the damage of just the attack of magic, so you could be fine. You should be fine. Which is also why with every turn you have with Yuna or any other character, it's important to switch out a character if you don't already have Yuna equipped, and just get Yuna out there and go ahead and start nullifying attacks again. It's also very important to note this. If you have summons and you have them all, maxed out, the only reason why they should be maxed out is because of you grind with them beforehand, before you enter this fight, or Yuna is actually, her special is ready to use, and if her special is ready to use, then you can summon any Aeon and just use their special. It's important you don't do this until until Seymour has less than 20,000 health left. With that in mind, it's important to do that and note this because Seymour can basically banish any Aeon that is summoned instantly. So as soon as you summon, you could probably attack, but you just immediately get banished. So it's important you don't do that, because then you lose the Aeon until you save the game and your Aeon comes back because his health is replenished, or their health is replenished. And I could be wrong saying mental break is the break for magic offense from Seymour. It could be the magic defense, not actually lowers it. Either way, you still want to use it. I would still recommend you keep on using it. Because with Lulu, you can cast Blizzaga and that does enough damage as well. So, go ahead and keep that in mind. It's also important to note that Yuna has Shell, Protect, and Tidus has Cheer. With Tidus, you can stack Cheer on everybody. So that means you can keep using it, keep using it, keep using it. Your attacks will get better and better and better. At some point it does cap, but you still want to make sure you keep on cheering. With Yuna, you have Shell. Shell is good for, especially with magic. So that magic defense is going to help you out a lot. So with Yuna, not only would be nullifying attacks, or elemental attacks, it's also good to know that you can also decrease attacks, points of damage given to the characters so that you receive it much less. Basically, better defensive magic. Because Seymour never at this fight ever like hits you. He just uses magic. And at some point, he has a spell called Ultima. This is basically a desperate attack. Ultima is very strong. It does literally 9999 freaking points of damage. So I would recommend, as soon as you see Seymour start going to turning red, like, you know, very glowy red, recommendation, get Yuna out and make sure she pulls out an Aeon. With this, as soon as that Aeon comes out and Seymour attacks, the ultimate move will be completely used on that Aeon.
But there is no salvation for the damned. Rest in peace in eternal darkness.
And guess what? Your party will live. That Aeon will sacrifice itself and die. That is very important to note. If perhaps you can use a move with the Aeon, you could probably bust out the super move that you should have already had before the fight. And specifically Bahamut. Bahamut has a very strong move that can do this. Literally goes over the cap 9999 damage.
Let darkness take you.
So go ahead, if you can, use that special move now. With that, I feel like that's about it. If you're worried about, like, you know, characters attacking, you really just need to worry about how mental break and just using all the breaks you can with Orin really does help out. Continuing to do those breaks as like attacks is also really smart. Using magic, specifically like Blizzard with Lulu, normal attacks with Tidus, Waka occasionally attacks, which is really good. During this footage, my characters, you can see their stats aren't as great as I probably recommend you being. That's because like the next boss fight, I grinded maybe an extra 10 hours for it, or an extra 40. No. Extra 20 or 10. I spent more time grinding and understanding the game. And yeah, with all this information, I hope you guys do well in this fight. I loved this fight. The music is amazing. I feel like because like through the journey I went through with these characters, the cast, and like the amount of fights I've been through, I feel like this it really felt worthy of a Final Fantasy fight. And I just think it's really fitting. It's really fitting for the franchise and for this game. And fun fact, if you have the Aeon that belongs to Seymour, you can pull out that Aeon and Seymour will actually have special dialogue. It is really neat, and this game is awesome. It is like just amazing how good this game is. Now with all this, I hope you guys do well in the fight. As you see in my gameplay, you can just take notes from just watching this, honestly. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. I'll come back later and talk more, especially in the final fight with Yu Yevon's final summon. Alright, subscribe for more, and enjoy the video, or the rest of the video.
Now! Yuna, send him!
Right!
So, it is you, after all, who will send me. But Even after I am gone, Spira's sorrow will prevail.
Sin will be right behind you.